Welcome to another £5 dinner challenge where we try to feed the whole family for just under £5. Today, we're making one of my all-time favorite dishes. We're making gumbo. First, we brown the chicken. You can do it however you like, but just out of sheer laziness, we're just gonna throw them in the oven. We'll bone them out later, but because they'll be chopped anyway, it's much easier to do that after they're cooked. So, we season generously with salt, pepper, a bit of vegetable oil to help them get started. And this goes into a preheated oven at 180 fan, top shelf, until they're well browned. Now, we prepare our holy trinity of vegetables. The green bell pepper, the onion, and the celery. You want to dice them, but not too fine, because we're gonna make a dark roux, which is gonna be extremely hot, and you don't want them to burn the moment they hit the pot. I think green bell pepper and the dark roux, this combo is really what sets gumbo apart from other stews. Now, the onion. And the celery. A trick to get rid of the chewy bits from old celeries is that you grab the root side and you break it apart. Then you tear. This will bring with you the tough bits that you don't want. You want to make sure all your vegetables are the same size, otherwise some would burn faster than others. And we save the leaves for garnish because we can't afford scallion. Now, we have our plain flour for the roux. What you want is equal parts plain flour to oil ratio. I'm using vegetable oil, but you can use any high smoke point oil. Just make sure you don't use butter or olive oil. Now, let's make a dark roux. You do this at the pace you're comfortable with. The ultimate objective is to get to a dark brown color without burning the pot. So if this is your first time doing it, do it at medium heat. Hot pan. Vegetable oil in, and once the oil starts to shimmer, flour goes in, and you stir. If you have a flat induction top like me, you can rotate the pot, but if not, just stir very vigorously to avoid the bottom from burning. I picked the one hot day in London to make a roux. Now we have a blondish roux. Once it's brown, but not fully black yet, that's when the vegetables go in and it will cool down the pan immediately. Don't season it now. Keep stirring because the bottom is still really hot. You want to stir until the vegetables have released their moisture and deglass the bottom of the pan before you leave it to season. This is one step that many people burn their roux. You've done all the hard work, so keep stirring. Make sure the bottom doesn't catch. All right, now that calmness has been restored to the pot, we season with salt. And this will also help the vegetables release their moisture. Black pepper. If you have garlic, by the way, don't add them with the vegetables. The roux is way too hot and the sugar content of the garlic would just burn right away. If you want to add garlic, add it after the vegetables are translucent. Once the vegetables are translucent, we add some water. But we add them bit by bit because it is a roux after all. And you mix to make sure we have no lumps. Now, you can already see this wonderful thick consistency the roux gives us. Now, since we don't have any spices, we're gonna go ham on the black pepper. Bring this back to a boil, lid on, and you simmer this at medium-low heat. Given the smell, it's tempting to even eat this now. But with a dark roux, you need to cook out the roux. So give it at least an hour. And when the chicken's ready, we'll chop it up and add them in. And while that's cooking, we cook our rice in accordance to the instructions. All right, after 40 minutes, the chicken comes out, beautifully browned. I mean, the skin's not gonna remain crispy, but the browning would give us more meaty flavors. We set the chicken aside to cool down. Oh, this is a crispy chicken. We drain off the excess fat. And now, all these beautiful burnt bits, these are the chickeny goodness. So, we deglass with hot water. and we scrape it. Now this whole tray goes into our duck roux. These bad boys, kind of cool enough to be handled, so we find a joint, cut through, and just cut them into bite-sized pieces, because they're not going to shrink that much more. Now, they all go in to our gumbo. Now, we still have the rest of our celeries, so let's make a quick salad. That will be the palate cleanser for our gumbo. You grab your mandolin, and we find the thinnest setting possible, and you go. Now, to this, we add some ice water. And we leave it in the fridge for about 15 minutes, or when the food's ready. All right, after a bit more than an hour, we have enough rice to feed the whole village, and our celery has curled up very beautifully thanks to the ice water bath. Now, you can dress it however you like. We have the skimmed off chicken fat that has salt and pepper in it already. Nothing goes to waste. And we have a beautiful celery salad ready to cleanse your palate. And, no, and, no, and, no, and, no, and, 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 nope, and. Last but not least, we have beautiful gumbo. Oh, the complexity of the smell. It's a wonderful, wonderful dish. This is chicken gumbo with rice with a crunchy celery salad on the side. I really hope you enjoy.